What's up, my name is Matt, and today I'm going to be talking about the lighting in my gaming setup, and I just wanted to discuss what works, what doesn't work, because there's a couple of things I've learned the hard way. So hopefully through this video I just wanted to share my experiences and maybe help some of you out there avoid making the same mistakes I made. So as you can see, I have multiple different sources of light going on in my setup, and I have LED strips, I have floodlights. So I'm going to go over each individual component and just explain, what each one brings into the mix. And it's worth mentioning that when I'm shooting videos in here, I usually have a video light going on in the background, and when I'm just gaming in here, that's off. So let me go ahead and turn that off to give you the full effect. So here we go, and there, now we're ready for some Instagram pictures. So first off, let me talk about these 4 floodlights that are actually providing most of the light that you're seeing right now. And there are a bunch of different brands on Amazon selling these lights, but it looks like they're all the same model. They probably come from the same place. But these are 15-watt RGB floodlights. And these are pretty cool, but let me just start by saying I originally bought 6 of these, and out of those 6, 3 of them burnt out in less than 6 months. So I originally had 3 on this side of the room, and then another 3 on this side, 1 up top, and then 2 on the bottom. And then when 2 of them burnt out, I bought 2 more, and then finally a 3rd one burnt out over here. So I put the remaining one over there for now. And just, yeah, I can't stand behind this product. I haven't had good luck with them lasting. But when they last, they're pretty cool. So these are pretty affordable. Usually you get a box of 2 for about 30 bucks. You do have RGB LEDs in there, as well as a warm white LED in there. I'll show you that in a little bit. And apparently these things are even supposed to be waterproof, so you can use them outside. And what's kind of nice is these things run off of Bluetooth, so they're not on your Wi-Fi network. You don't need to buy a hub or anything like that. So you do control these with an app on your phone. You can set these to whatever color you want, adjust the brightness. You can set each light to its own individual color, and these do remember where they were set in case the power goes out or something like that. So it's nice that you can adjust the RGB to whatever color you want to go along with your setup. And if you just use the RGB, this is what the white looks like. But then you also have this warm white, so a much yellower white. This really reminds me more of like a typical bedroom light. And this setting really does light up the whole room. So it's cool that they have that in there too, something besides just the cold RGB white. And so yeah, these floodlights are pretty cool, but it's just a reliability issue for me. I wouldn't really recommend them, just since half the ones I've bought have burned out on me. And the next time I'm upgrading my lights, I'm definitely going to be swapping these out and trying something else. And so now that I got the main lights out of the way, let me talk about some of the smaller lights. Sometimes when I'm looking at other people's setups, at first I don't realize how many different lights they actually have going on. And sometimes it's just those little details that really brings the whole setup together and makes it look great. So let me talk about my mouse pad area. This is lit up by 2 LED strips that are underneath my monitors. And this just adds a nice subtle glow to my keyboard area, and it really makes a big difference for me. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like with them off. So with those 2 strips off, you really are playing in the dark down here, and I just like the nice little glow that it adds. All right, so I got those back on. And this time around, I did not put an LED strip behind these monitors facing the wall. I just didn't like how it looked in this particular setup. These monitors are a little further away from the wall than they were in my last setup. I do, however, still have an LED strip around the back of the TV, and that TV is a lot closer to the wall, so it gives off a nice glow, and I really like how that looks, but just based on my situation, I didn't do it with these monitors this time. So other than that, you've probably seen this strip going underneath my shelf here. And let me turn on the light and show you exactly what's going on. So I didn't want direct light from this LED under the shelf. I didn't want light shining in my eyes while I'm using the computer, giving me eye strain and all that. So to get this indirect light, I ended up getting a couple of wooden dowels. I just spray painted them black, and I used a bunch of this 3M double-sided tape. And as you can see, the LED strip is just sitting on the back there. I wish you couldn't see the individual lights as much, but this is just what I came up with, and I feel like it came out all right. And then for my PC, I do have an LED strip on the inside on top. I have lights on the motherboard, the graphics card, and the SSD. But then I also put another LED strip behind it just to add some glow there, and it's another little thing, but I really think it contributes a lot to the look of the setup. So other than that, let's talk about what I don't have in this setup. I don't have any lights on the back of my desk. I've tried that before, but it was too bright for me. But again, you can really change the brightness and how harsh lights are depending on how close your desk is to the wall. If you move it a couple inches away, you could make it a softer light, and I might actually end up trying that next time around. And I also don't have any lighting underneath my desk. I figured there's nothing to see down there. Although I've seen other people's setups where they do light it up underneath, and it looks good, they make it work, but you really do have to keep it clean down there if you do choose to light that up. And then I kind of have this dark spot right here underneath this top shelf. Maybe I should have done another LED strip right there, or maybe do some spotlights shining down so you could see my stuff. But yeah, as a rule of thumb for a gaming setup, you really don't want to have any dark spots, and that was just poor planning on my part. And then I'm sure as many of you already know, your wallpaper is really a big part of your setup and how it looks. For the longest time, I was just rocking black screens, but lately I got Wallpaper Engine on Steam, which is a great resource. And I feel like my setup, it looks 10 times better now that I've actually been putting something on the screens. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention was these gray walls. In my next setup, my next design, I definitely want to go back to white walls, just because it allows these lights to fill up the room more. The dark paint absorbs more light. And just depending on what colors I have or how I have everything set up, sometimes it's a little dark in here. And I just feel like I can make my setup look better with white walls. The RGB is doing most of the work here. If I turned off all the RGB, this wouldn't look nearly as cool. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me do that. So this is how it looks without any lighting, and the desk still looks all right, but now it definitely looks a lot more like an old guy desk. You're not gonna impress anybody with this. So I definitely know what it feels like. You see some expensive lights like Philips Hues or something, and you're like, why does that cost so much when I could just buy this other light on Amazon and it's way cheaper, it'll be the same, right? And then, as time goes on, you kind of realize, oh, maybe that light doesn't burn out on me, or maybe that light has a better app, or, maybe you're not having to deal with 10 different remotes and you're trying to switch one LED strip and it actually switches the color on the other one, and, just hassles like that. I'm not saying Philips Hue isn't overpriced, but there's definitely perks to having their system. And yeah, when you're dealing with cheap stuff, you gotta be careful. Some stuff is all right, some stuff is just garbage. So anyway, that's what I thought about all of my lighting. There's definitely gonna be some upgrades coming soon. I'm gonna be broadening my horizons, maybe try out some fancy, expensive stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.